And here we go again. We are live. Hi, everybody. Hope you've had a cracking weekend. Now, we've got a lot of stuff to get through today, so I want to get straight into this. Now, over the last 3 weeks, I've been sharing with you my Confident Roadmap. And if you implement that roadmap into your business, you're going to be able to build and grow your business in such a way that's going to give you clarity, control, and confidence, even in this present economic climate. Now, actually, what I'll do, I'll just bring that up so remind you what it looks like, and for those of you who haven't seen it already. Now, can somebody just give me the thumbs up and let me know that you're able to see my screen? Thank you, Rach. Great to see you here again. So far, the steps that we've covered in this roadmap are clarity, obstacles, navigation, finance, income, and delivery. And by implementing these steps, you're going to have clarity on the lifestyle that you want to live and have a plan in place for how to build and grow your business so that it's going to be able to provide that lifestyle with you. And then when you implement the steps in the control level, which is finance, income, and delivery, you'll have said goodbye to firefighting in your business. And now you've got a business that operates with much greater predictability, profitability, and structure. And that then means we're now ready to move up to this next level, the confidence level. And the confidence level is designed for you, the business owner, to feel calm, capable, and confident because the business is no longer a constant pressure or needs lots of sacrifice from you. And your involvement in the day-to-day is totally in your control because the business is no longer dependent on you. And the first step in the confidence level is evaluation. And that's where we're going to go today. Now, before I forget, if anybody would like a copy of the map, drop the word map into the comments or DM me and I will get it over to you. Let me just move the map out of the way again. Now, for me, evaluation is one of the most overlooked steps in business because most business owners are very good at doing, reacting, solving problems, pushing forward, but not enough time gets invested on reviewing, reflecting, measuring, and learning. Without evaluation, experience automatically doesn't automatically become wisdom. Sometimes it just becomes repetition. So let me ask you something honestly. How often do you actually stop and evaluate? What's working? What's not? What needs adjusting? What your business is trying to teach you? And if you're doing that, well done. You are one of the rarities. But are you doing it in a focused way? Now, are you doing it while you're multitasking? Not while you're firefighting? Not while you're replying to emails? So what I mean is, have you actually blocked out time to properly stop and think? Because one of the biggest dangers in business is this: being busy enough to feel productive while repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And this is why evaluation becomes so important, because evaluation creates awareness, and awareness creates improvement. Now, a phrase that I've used extensively over the years with clients is, what gets measured gets improved. What gets measured improves. And I found that that's so true. But I've also come to learn this, that there's another level beyond that. What gets evaluated intelligently improves faster. What gets evaluated intelligently improves faster. Because numbers on their own are not enough. You need interpretation, you need reflection, you need to ask, what's this result telling us? Why did this happen? What can we do differently next time? What needs to improve? Think for a second about elite sport and how top athletes, they don't just perform, they review their performance constantly. They study what worked, what didn't work so well, what failed, what needs refining, where time was lost, where energy was wasted, and what created the best outcomes for them. And if you think about it, business should be no different, should it? If we want to achieve success in business, we need to have a maniacal focus on activities and habits and the behaviours that create success. But the big challenge is that far too many business owners are permanently trapped in execution mode. And the problem with permanent execution mode, should I say, is that you can become too busy working in the business to be able to invest any time to work on the business, doing what it takes to improve the business. So when was the last time you properly reviewed things? Things like, let's say, your pricing, your customer experience, your sales process, your time allocation, your profitability, your leadership, your team's performance, your own energy. Because if these things are not improving, it usually comes down to one of two reasons. Either you've got the wrong strategy, or your learning and feedback aren't being acted upon. And this is why evaluation matters so much, because something that I learned the hard way in business is that you cannot improve what you refuse to confront. You cannot refuse what you refuse to confront. Or another way of putting that, which is a bit more brutal, is you deserve what you tolerate. And far too many people in the world of business avoid evaluation because emotionally it can feel really uncomfortable. Because evaluation shines a light on your weaknesses, on your gaps, on your mistakes, on the things you're avoiding, on your inconsistencies. But the businesses that improve the fastest are not the businesses that avoid problems. They're the businesses that are willing to look honestly at reality. And are willing to do that without ego, without drama, and without playing the blame game. Now, evaluation is not about beating yourself up. It's about you gathering feedback. And feedback is incredibly valuable because failure is rarely final. But when ignored, feedback becomes so expensive. So let me ask you, what patterns keep repeating in your business right now? What frustrations keep returning? What goals keep getting delayed? What conversations keep being avoided? Because repeated problems are usually feedback. And that feedback is trying to point you towards improvement. And one of the most important things inside the evaluation step is creating the right dashboard. I often explain this to clients with, it's a bit like when you're out driving your car. You don't spend your whole journey staring down at the dashboard, do you? You glance at it regularly to check things like the fuel level, the engine temperature, there's no warning lights on, and to check your speed. And you do that because the dashboard gives you early warning signs before any problems could become serious. And I'm sure you'll agree that it makes sense for businesses to do the same and have a business dashboard. But what I've found is most businesses only really look at the P&L, the balance sheet, and the bank account. Whilst those things are important, they are lagging indicators. They tell you what's already happened. It's back there. So that's a bit like trying to drive your car while staring at the rear view mirror. Useful, but dangerous, particularly if that's all you're looking at. And the truth is, the future of your business is shaped long before it ever shows up in your accounts. So that means alongside lagging indicators like the P&L, it would be a really good idea to track some leading indicators, the activities and behaviours that influence future results. Things like lead generation numbers, conversion rates, sales activity, appointments booked, follow-up activity, customer feedback scores, average order value, referrals generated. Because when we understand those numbers, the business becomes far more predictable. Think about it. If historically you know that a certain number of calls creates a certain amount of appointments, and that results in a certain amount of customers who generate a certain amount of profit, it means now you can stop relying on hope and start managing momentum. This is why I introduce clients to my Y Factor profit model really on in our relationship, because small improvements in inquiries, conversion, average sale, retention and margins will dramatically improve the profitability and the predictability of your business. Thinking on, I will do a live on the Y Factor profit model next week. So watch out for that one because it's a really magical tool. Now let me ask you, what are the leading indicators inside your business? What numbers tell you that the future is improving before the accounts arrive? What activities create momentum consistently? And are you measuring them enough? Because many business owners either measure nothing or they measure everything. And both are dangerous, by the way, because overwhelm caused by tracking too many numbers can create disengagement. So instead, what you need is meaningful evaluation of a few things that truly drive the performance of your business. Another incredibly important thing to evaluate regularly is your use of time, energy, and attention, because these are your most valuable resources. And yet, many business owners spend huge amounts of those resources reacting instead of leading. So ask yourself honestly, what percentage of your week is presently spent on growth activities, strategic thinking, leadership, improvement? And what percentage of your week is spent on things like firefighting, repeating yourself, fixing preventable problems, handling things that should already have a system? Because the way you spend your time tells the truth about your business, and it's not the goals that are written on paper. Another really important element of evaluation is evaluating your team. And this is not about constantly criticizing people, it's about giving people clarity. Because people perform better when expectations are clear, feedback is clear, measurements are clear, and improvement conversations are happening consistently. Because the truth is, most people genuinely want to do well. And to do well, they're going to need direction, support, clarity, and feedback. Now, one red flag that I've observed is that many businesses review too late. And by the time they get around to evaluating the numbers, the quarter's gone, the cash is gone, the opportunity's gone. And this is why having a rhythm matters so much. Now, that rhythm could include things like daily reviews, weekly reviews, monthly reviews, quarterly reviews. And you'll find that these reviews are going to work much better for you than the annual panic sessions that often take place as the final month of the financial year approaches. Also, for me, constant reflection creates consistent improvement. And this is where I introduce my clients to the momentum improvement cycle, because improvement should become continuous. You measure the current performance, you test changes, you remeasure, you adjust, you rinse and repeat. And that's how momentum compounds, not through perfection, but through consistent refinement. And something that I believe is incredibly important to evaluate is yourself as a leader. Because as the business grows, the owner really does need to grow ahead of it. So let me ask you, who does your business currently need you to become? What strengths need strengthening? Or what skills need strengthening? What behaviours need improving? What habits need changing? What conversations do you need to stop avoiding? Because the next level of your business growth requires the next level of your personal growth. Now let me ask you something else. Do you currently have space in your weekly diary for thinking? Not reacting, thinking. Because clarity often arrives in reflection, not in chaos. One of the biggest mistakes I see business owners who confuse is those who confuse movement with progress. But movement isn't necessarily progress. Sometimes it's just activity. And evaluation will help you separate the two. Okay, your momentum move for today is this. Block out 30 minutes today for a proper business review. Ask yourself these 4 questions. What's working well right now? What's not working so well and can improve? What lessons are emerging? And what needs to change next? And having done that, identify the leading and lagging indicators in your business and whether or not you're spending too much time looking backwards instead of forwards. Because businesses improve faster when awareness improves. And to help you implementing that, help you implement what we've been discussing here today, grab a copy of my latest ebook, 44 lessons learned from 44 years in business. Just drop the word lessons into the comments or DM me and I will send it across. And if this session has made you realise that you've been moving fast but not reviewing deeply enough, follow the link in the comments where you can go and arrange a conversation. And in that conversation, together, we're going to be identifying what's working, what may be slowing down your momentum, and where the biggest opportunities for improvement and predictability are in your business right now. Because sometimes the breakthrough that you've been waiting for is not about you doing more, it's about seeing more clearly. Okay, I think that'll do for today. You've got plenty to be getting on with. So until the next live, same time, same place on Wednesday, go create some real momentum. Thanks for joining me.